Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to a little special video for Marvel United. So far, as of this set, this would be with the coming of the third series or season, Marvel United Multiverse. They've released 4 different promo characters, or promo decks, I should say, rather. 2 of them are currently a little bit easier to get through the Dice Tower. I don't know if they're available at the moment. They were available through their Kickstarter campaign. Eventually, though, should show up in their online store. And that will be Grey Hulk. So we're just getting an alternate version of Hulk. He was already a hero, but we get a gray version of him. And then we also get Juggernaut as a hero, which is really cool because it was one of them weird things. Juggernaut, like, more than some of the other characters who had been more of an X-Men than a villain lots of times. He worked with Thunderbolts. So it's cool to have a hero version of him as well, instead of saying have the anti-version. But during the X-Men series, they didn't have a lot of, they didn't do as many of the crossovers they did when they came to Multiverse. They also do have 2 other decks I'm going to show off, which are from the current year's promos. These were last year's promos, which are X-Force Deadpool and Mr. Sinister, but I do not currently physically own the cards, so I will just show off some pictures I've taken of them, so you can kind of see what they are, and maybe this will gauge if you're interested. If you want these, not, you can probably find pictures of any of these online at BoardGameGeek.com, so if you really want to, you could probably just go find a picture, print off your own versions if you'd really like to play these without me try and hunt them down. Hopefully they will release all the physical versions and maybe make them easier for players to find. But we're going to go ahead and go through these. So we're going to start with Hulk. So I just grabbed my little Hulk miniature. Now these decks, if you're purchasing them, do not come with the miniatures as there. This is one of the only downsides to like some of these, is like him and X-Force Deadpool, is that if you bought the sets and you painted these, I'm going to have a green Hulk to go with that. I won't have another gray Hulk. So I mean, if you're really trying to be 100% completionist, you might end up buying a second base set to have that. But then you can alternatively always repaint some of the other characters different colors as well. But we're going to look at what the Hulk does. So it's really cool is because starting with some of the later cards, he started to have a starting hand card. They started this in the X-Men set. And this is something I wish they would almost do, and a lot of people wish they'd do with the base Marvel United set, is go back and refresh some of those heroes because they didn't have starting cards and had some new mechanics that they added. It'd be neat for some of them characters to take advantage of it. So we get one with the Hulk here. So Grey Hulk starts with Growing Rage. And it says as long as this card is spaced up in the storyline, for each damage you take during a villain turn, you may gain 1 attack token, otherwise it's a wild. Now, you just start with this card. You don't have to play it right away, but obviously if you play this on your first turn, get you a wild right away, get your teammate a wild, also potentially gets you a ton of extra tokens. And then he has another one with the same type of picture on there. We have Superhuman Stamina, which has a very similar mechanic to it. So as long as this card is spaced up on the storyline, if you start your turn with only 1 card in hand, you may draw 2 cards during your draw step, and this gives him move. This is kind of his movement ability. He has an attack. He has controlled strength. Do 2 damages in your location in an attack. This is the kind of, I feel like, simulate Hulk. The Green Hulk's version has one where he smashes and takes it all to everybody. This lets you just focus your attacks around. Then he has, I love that they put him in the suit, for Joe Fixit Hulk. Outsmart, when the next Master Plan card is revealed, you may put it on the bottom and draw another one instead. So that's definitely a neat effect there. You kind of get, yeah, we don't want to deal with that one. That's all he has for special cards. He's only got the 4 of them. Then he has his, regular double wild, single wilds. He gets some double attacks. He gets a single attack, a move attack, just a movement, move heroic, and a heroic. Yeah, so definitely not bad. It's a neat idea to do some of these alternate decks for characters, and that might even be a cool thing if they could, again, do for some of these other characters. Even if they did it, they refreshed some of the old versions. They kind of did it to an extent in the multiverse with Iron Man and Captain America, where they made a new version of that character. And then a lot of the X-Men have alternate forms as well. Like we have multiple Wolverines, we have classic and regular Havoc. And that might be a neat idea to do with some of these. Even if you don't reprint like new miniatures for them, even if you just make different decks that are like alternate versions of that character. And it's up, yeah, either just use that model or people can repaint. I get people like to have a separate one for each, but that could be a really cool way to have some characters have alternate versions of themselves, you know, with alternate decks or slightly alternate abilities. Alright, up next we're going to look at good old Kane Marco Juggernaut. So yeah, normally he'd be the villain. And this is why painting them would be a lot nicer. Obviously, I haven't painted mine. I would love to. I'm just not good at painting yet, so I still have to practice before I do it on my highly expensive miniatures. But yeah, if you painted them all the one color, it wouldn't matter if he's red or whatever color for hero or villain, because he'd all be the same thing. So he also is going to get a starting hand card. He'll have Protect the Weaklings. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, each time one civilian in your location is about to be discarded, you may take 1 damage to prevent it. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, he can take a hit to prevent civilians being discarded. It has heroic. It kind of shows his, you know, when he's trying to help people out type of stuff. And then he gets 2 copies of Charge, which have move, then attack. And then you get an additional attack. Which is cool because this doesn't just give him a movement and an attack. He has to move, then attack, which is definitely Juggernaut. To help keep him from dying from taking hits, he's got 2 copies of Juggernaut Armor. You cannot take any damage until the beginning of your next turn. Now, I feel like, though, taking damage and you may take 1 damage to prevent it, I wonder if those negate each other. Obviously, you think they would kind of work. Like, you could be like, I can just negate that. I'll take that damage, but now I'm negating it. But I wonder if it works out. That's an interesting decision on which way that works, because it says you cannot take any damage, which means if an enemy tries to put damage on you, it just doesn't happen. They can't give you that damage. So I almost wonder if that means you could opt to say, hey, I will take this damage from this civilian being discarded, but now I don't take it. Yeah, because it says you may take 1 damage to prevent it, but if you can't take that damage, are you allowed to take it? So that's something you probably have to debate about between your play group, whether that works that way or not. His last special ability card is Double Agent Juggernaut. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, if during your turn you enter a location with a henchman, you may be the top card of your master plan deck. Kind of funny though, if you work these 2 together, they have a bunch of like in storyline stuff that could happen. They could be helping each other out. Juggernaut and Hulk, kind of interesting. He's got 2 copies of Move Attack, which definitely makes sense. He's got a Move Heroic. He's got just a Heroic, and then he's got his 2 Wilds. So that's Juggernaut. He has some very interesting different abilities there. Alright, so up next, we're going to look at Deadpool. Now, again, these, I don't have the physical cards for these, because they're released at various conventions, and I wasn't going to drive across the country to a convention to find promo cards. I'm going to pull up my other tablet here, so I'm actually going to have to move my miniature down. I just grabbed this Deadpool here, which is the base one. Now, what is neat, though, is because of the Deadpool expansion, you have the regular one and you have the villain one. So you could arguably color one in this color in X-Force colors, color one in the other colors. I'd probably color this in maybe the X-Force because he's got the big gun. And then maybe color the other one in regular. Then you could mix and match whichever one you wanted. Alright, so he has his 2 wild cards, of course. Then if we flip this, there's a glare on here. This is not from me taking a picture. This is the whoever took these pictures took them, but they're the same 2 cards. And this is why I said the gun wouldn't work. It says maximum firepower. It says, and it's hard to read, and I understand that. Let's see if I can maybe zoom up on these a little bit more. It says, deal 2 damage, 2 hits against a single target in your location. Then deal 2 damage against a different target there. So he does up to 4 hits, but it has to be on 2 different targets in the area. Definitely superpower, right? Alright, up next he has 2 copies of Fight Through the Pain. Gain 1 attack token. You may ignore 1 damage until the beginning of your next turn. And he gets a bunch of movement out of both of these, so he can kind of move around, take some damage. Kind of interesting. So we have Hulk, obviously, can take some damage to do some stuff. Juggernaut can take some hits and ignore damage. Deadpool is taking hits, ignore damage. Kind of a theme here, right? We have, this is a fun name, Bea might be in danger, so he's talking about B. Arthur. She's rescue 1 civilian in your location, and then he has a move and attack. It's kind of a fun in-joke with him. Then he has 2 kind of different ones. He has improved resistance to everything and regenerative healing factor. So improved resistance says until the beginning of your next turn, any special effects on master plan cards played here have no effect on Deadpool. So his resistance lets him basically ignore master plan cards, and it doesn't attack. And his regenerative healing factor says as long as this card is spaced up in the storyline, if you have less than 3 cards in your hand at the end of a villain turn, you may draw 1 card. So it lets him refill his health back up, essentially. Then his last 2 cards are actually really fun because they're black. So we got introduced to this with some of the other X-Force cards, which are ones you have to play. So on your next turn, you must play your hero card randomly. So these are basically negative effect cards. I wish they would have done a few more of these on some characters. Because some characters have powers that are kind of uncontrollable, or their character's a little bit reckless, and I could see them kind of compromising the team. So it's really fun that they added this in there. But he gets 1 move in Heroic. So one thing that's different with this set is he does not have the regular Heroic and double Heroic cards. These 2 cards would probably act like that. But he has moving Heroic, or sorry, not Heroic, wild cards is what I meant to say. But yeah, your next turn you must play a hero card at random. Just kind of sucks, but yeah, it gets you a move and a wild. Alright, then up next we have Mr. Sinister, who is a villain. But I think they gave him a hero deck, because generally he's not a hero, except during the current-ish Krakoa storyline. Although after the set came out and after this card's probably been more by the time it's being released, we have the Sins of Sinister, where he kind of revealed to be evil again. He's always kind of made up with in the background, but it's kind of fun to be able to play him as well. So he has Master Geneticist, which gives him a wild honor. It says, as long as this card is face up in the storyline, if you end your turn in a location with any other hero, you may place 1 DNA token on one of their face-up cards in the storyline with no DNA. So this is really fun because it utilizes his DNA tokens from the villain, from his actual villain thing too, so you're utilizing his villain mechanic as well. Yeah, you may place 1 DNA token on one of their face-up cards on a storyline, no DNA token. And then his effects are going to do that. So he has Secret Agenda. Move 1 DNA token from a face-up hero card and use its special effect. Then turn it face down. If the hero wins this turn, only you win. Other players lose. So it's kind of neat because you're sort of playing with your team, but you're playing against your team. Because you can use their special effects to do stuff, but you can also turn off other things. You could turn off, like, Juggernaut, Deadpool, or Hulk's if this card's in a storyline card, you can turn around and shut them off, which is kind of interesting. And he has 2 more of those, so he has 3 copies of those. And he has 2 copies, right now he has 2 copies of Master Manipulator. I think he might have a 3rd one. Just choose any other hero. On their next turn, you choose the card they will play in the storyline, even if they have to play randomly. So yeah, he gets to reuse characters' abilities, and then he gets to put tokens on if he's with them by doing that. And then now he gets to play their cards. He's got 3 copies of that, which also means he has 6 wild cards. So he gets to do a lot of other stuff. Then his regular other cards, he has a move and heroic, move attack, heroic attack, and then his regular wilds as well. So like half his deck is wilds. So that's definitely crazy for him, right? That he gets all these different wild cards. And all that stuff. So yeah, this is really neat that they added these extra promo character decks. Kind of sucks that it's hard to find them. They're really expensive if you buy them through eBay. Even like I said, I got mine through the Dice Tower Kickstarter, but for that I couldn't just order them by themselves. I could order them in a big bundle. Luckily there was enough other promos in that pack that it was worth it to me. But I can see other people not wanting to spend that kind of money for just 2 decks of cards. But you should be able to. These last 2 pictures I got from Board Game Geek for the Deadpool and Mr. Sinister. So you could just go ahead and print out your own if you just want to have paper copies. Or, you know, if you have something else. I don't know if they have pictures of the backs or not, so you might not have those backs. But it's definitely an interesting idea. Also, I like the fact with Mr. Sinister utilizing his tokens is it makes me think of other villains that they could turn into heroes. They could also maybe use some of their tokens in different ways. My first instinct, because of the whole X-Men storyline stuff, would have been Kingpin. That would have been really cool there too, because he uses plan tokens to maybe do something. You know, there's some different villains that obviously make sense as being also heroes as well. But it also might be neat to do some the other direction as well. Like, again, if you're not worried about having a miniature that exactly matches them, you could definitely do like a superior Iron Man who maybe like as a boss you have to fight, or Hydra Captain America, like some different things like that could be kind of interesting as well. You know, it'd be neat to see. Alright, but that's what I have for this video. We just have them. Yeah, I just wanted to show off these decks in case you weren't, for whatever reason, aware that these even existed. Is I have these 2, and then the other 2 are also available as well. Again, you can try and hunt them down on eBay, or you can wait to see if they eventually show up in Dice Tower. The Dice Tower store, they might have some stuff there. They usually sell promos, but I don't know how many copies they had because they ran out. I know they ran out. I think they ran out during their Kickstarter, so I don't know if they have extra copies, or if they just sell whatever their amount they're given. Hopefully, CMON and them will actually make these more widely available in the future. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.